Well, today is 1 day short exactly of 15 years to the day since Oasis broke up. Ever since that day, on the 28th of August 2009, the demand for Oasis to reform has never really gone away, despite Noel Gallagher repeatedly saying it's never going to happen. However, at the time, behind the scenes rumours were that the reason it wasn't going to happen was that Liam Gallagher, Noel's brother, didn't get along with Sarah, Noel's wife. In recent years, however, Noel and Sarah went their separate ways, and from that point onwards, Liam and Noel both started sounding a little more positive about the idea of an Oasis reunion in interviews. A game of kind of press ping-pong started between Noel and Liam, with one of them saying, well, if you want a reunion, call me, and the other one going, well, I'm not calling you, you call me, and so on. No one in the Oasis fan community was entirely sure how real this was, but by the end of it, some of us were getting quite bitter because the talk of a reunion was in the air and it seemed like it was being held up because no one would make a phone call. But at this point, even more rumours started to circulate behind the scenes in the shady, secretive world of Oasis Chinese whispers. For quite some time now, I've been getting unverified messages from viewers all over the world, but particularly in the UK. I've had unverified messages from people suggesting all kinds of things, but I've never gone public with them because there's never been any kind of official confirmation. Until now. Previously, the reunion debate has rumbled on and on and on, and after a certain point you just stop talking about it because you've already said everything there is to be said. And many of the hardcore Oasis fans had also noticed a pattern emerging, which was every time Noel had an album to promote, all of a sudden he would mention the reunion in an interview, everyone was talking about Oasis again, and as soon as the album was out and had got its chart position, the talk would fade away again. Noel always has been good at promotions, at working the press. In the past, Oasis fans had even tweeted Liam to say, are all these Oasis rumours just because Noel's got an album to promote? And Liam had replied, pretty much, yeah. But despite having been disappointed so many times, and despite seeing that pattern emerging, and despite there being a new Oasis record coming out, the Definitely Maybe 30, for some reason, when the Oasis reunion rumours started again, this time it did feel different. I know I'm not the only one who's had this growing sense ever since Noel and Sarah split, that this time something really is in the air. And I've just not been able to shake that sense, just that sixth sense that something really is happening this time. I have been now for years in the tiny minority of hardcore Oasis fans who still believed that the reunion was coming. I posted this on Twitter a year ago. On June the 5th, 2023, I said, I think the Oasis reunion is already well into talks. I think Liam and Noel are possibly already mates again, and I think they are both playing the media quite well. In short, I think it's on. And continuing to test the water, in more recent months I posted this, a Twitter poll to see who thought the Oasis reunion was still coming. Once again, I was in the tiny minority of believers. Now, as I've said, the hardcore fans are aware of two things. Firstly, Definitely Maybe the 30th anniversary is coming with new Oasis tracks, and so Ignition and Noel are going to be promoting it. Also, there are rumours of a Liam Gallagher solo Definitely Maybe concert film. So with both these projects in the air, many of us were still just a little bit on the fence about, is this it? Until around 11 PM on August the 25th, 2024, Noel Gallagher's Twitter, Liam Gallagher's Twitter and the official Oasis Twitter all posted the same short video. This was also played that same night on a video screen at the Reading Festival after Liam's set. It was apparently also shown on the screen at a Blossoms gig at Wythenshawe Park. The music playing in the background was Give the People What They Want by the OJs. In the past week, The Sun reported this, and the rumours of an Oasis reunion quickly became the #1 story on the BBC News website and the #1 trending issue in the UK on Twitter. The logo that's been appearing everywhere is clearly the work of Brian Cannon at Microdot, but he was also keeping stum. Right now, it is 8:30 AM. The announcement has come, and it is that Oasis are back together and performing live. So we haven't got a huge amount of detail, but this is what we know. Oasis in some form are back together and are playing live in 2025. They're at Cardiff, Manchester at Heaton Park, they're at Wembley, they're in Edinburgh and in Dublin, and tickets are going on sale at 9 AM this Saturday on Ticketmaster and Gigs and Tours. I just knew 2024 was going to be a brilliant year for British guitar music. Some of us have been waiting a very, very, very long time for this. And some of us, myself included, have spent many years out on that lonely branch, more or less alone, believing that the reunion was coming. So, on behalf of everyone else in that small group, I would just like to say this.
Yes! Yes! Not get too excited.
Yes! Give me 10, Norton! Everyone can eat shit! A big bag of shit! I'm the greatest man in the world! Woo!
But there is
You're
something
right,
else.
Mom. Destiny. Oh, I'm so happy I can't even feel my arms.
But, all joking aside, fucking hell, it's happening. Genuinely, I've had money set aside for ages now in an emergency Oasis reunion fund. And that worked out, didn't it? So, come hell or high water, I am going to be there. But the announcement we got literally half an hour ago has actually raised a lot more questions than it's answered, so I want to put a few of those questions out there and see what you guys reckon. Oasis reuniting at very long last has thrown up a ton of questions and implications, so please get involved down in the comments section and let's see who knows what. So my first question is, what does this mean for the second Liam Gallagher and John Squire album? So Liam has said publicly a couple of times that the plan was to do a second album with John Squire, but he has since tweeted that he's not a solo artist anymore. So that might mean that the new Liam Gallagher John Squire album isn't coming, or it just might mean it's been kicked down the road. I'm sure I read in one of the billions of interviews that John Squire has actually even started writing the second album, so if anyone knows anything about what's happening with that, let me know in the comments. But of course, in the light of the Oasis reunion, solo records have obviously got to take second place. And that's also because new Oasis material is also potentially in the pipeline. Those who follow these things closely will know that Noel has said he has got 2 albums fully written. One is an acoustic one, and one is an Oasis-style stadium rock album. Now, some of us have been speculating for a while that he literally wrote that for Oasis. Oasis are now back together, so are we going to get a new Oasis album? The band haven't said anything about it, but Oasis are back together, Noel's got the material written, some people on Twitter have even been suggesting it's already been secretly recorded, although I doubt that. But if we are getting new Oasis material, I wonder if we will actually see Oasis finally claim a Christmas #1. The closest they came was with the single Whatever, but there's so much momentum behind the band now, and so many generations of fans, both young and old, that if they wanted to get a Christmas #1 this year, they could do it with their eyes closed. That would be amazing to see them get that Christmas #1 that they were denied in the 90s by shit music. Question number 4 is Nebworth. Throughout this time there have been constant rumours about where Oasis are going to play, and of course Nebworth keeps coming up. Of course we now have their live dates officially posted for next year, but what about Nebworth and what about Glastonbury? Personally, I reckon both of these are in the pipeline but haven't been announced yet. And I'm also still holding out hope for them retaking the Nebworth record from Robbie Williams. But coming back to the idea of new music, if they do release new music, I really hope it's in the old school format, an old 90s style maxi CD single. Just like they were back in the day. I hope we get 3 outstanding B-sides on each single, just like we did in the Golden Age. And at the end of it, I hope we get the 3rd one of these. The collectible cigarette single box sets. 5 new maxi CDs and the final singles box set. Of course, I am completely jumping the gun here. They haven't even announced any new music yet. But if new music is coming, It would be so awesome to get it all in that original, authentic 90s style, if that's still possible. Another burning question that's not been answered at the time of filming is who will be in the new lineup of the band. The NME have reported that no other original Oasis member will be joining the reunion, with members of Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds instead allegedly stepping in for the shows. But I personally hope at the very least that Bonehead's going to be in the band, and he's around, he plays with Liam, so why wouldn't he be? I also really hope we get Alan White on drums, but that might not happen, who knows. Gem is also in the High Flying Birds and a former member of Oasis, so I would have thought he's an obvious shoo-in. But who would be on bass is far from cut and dry. Probably not Guigsy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We also, at the time of filming, do not know who will be the support acts. There's been loads of talk online about some of the big old 90s giants like Ocean Colour Scene and Cast getting involved. And there have also been widespread calls on Twitter for Richard Ashcroft to reform the Verve to support Oasis. There's a really famous quote from Forever the People by Paolo Hewitt, in which Damon from Ocean Colour Scene and Liam Gallagher agree that Oasis, Ocean Colour Scene and the Verve are the new Beatles, Stones and Who in the 90s. In the late 90s, those three bands occupied the top 3 slots in the album charts. Now can you imagine if those 3 bands were all on the same bill? Let me know your picks for support acts down in the comments. Come on, menswear. For the 8th point, I want to raise a couple of questions about the timing of these announcements. Definitely Maybe was released on the 29th of August 1994. The band split up on the 28th of August 2009. That's exactly 1 day shy of 15 years. 14 years, 11 months and 30 days. And look at the date the reunion has been announced, the 27th of August 2024. Another 14 years, 11 months and 30 days exactly. And there have been loads of questions over the past few years relating to a song that Liam clearly wrote for Noel. That song seems to clearly reference a very specific date connected to the breakup of the band. The lyrics say, "Hey kid, did you know, today 16 years ago it was you and I for the last time. You angrily said, with smoke ring round your heads, you would see me on the other side. Come on, I know you want more. Come on and open your door. After it all, you'll find out you were always one of us. Act like you don't remember. You said we live forever. Who do you think you're kidding? You were only one of us. In time." So Oasis split up 15 years tomorrow. The date referenced in this song is a year and a day tomorrow. So I wonder if there's some relevance or significance to it. What was Liam talking about 16 years to the day after Oasis split up? We can only wait and see. And lastly, for my 9th and final point, I want to ask this question. Was this all planned the whole time? A few years back, I did a video called The Master Plan Conspiracy, where I had a lot of fun basically inventing a really in-depth Paul is dead type thing for Oasis. And I finished the video by suggesting that everything Oasis was doing was in the format of a 3-act play. I suggested in that video that everything the Gallaghers were doing was kind of by design. It was art and creativity on the grandest scale possible. The albums were about real life and all of it was kind of overlapping. Now, of course, again, that video was just for entertainment, nothing more. And you'd have to watch it to kind of make sense of this comment, but at the end of it, I suggested that we were all waiting right now in the long second interval before we get the final big bang, the final climactic ending to the Oasis legend and story. Interestingly enough, that seems to have come true. But conspiracy theory stuff aside, what do you guys think? Was this always the plan? Have Noel and Liam had this up their sleeves the whole time? Are they both just basically playing characters that are exaggerated versions of themselves and expertly playing the media? Maybe not, but when you take a step back and see how well they've managed and played this entire thing, there is room for a little bit of doubt. The Beatles never really got the chance to properly go out in glory because Lennon was killed. The Stone Roses reformed, but as per usual, they never delivered on all the promise and the excitement, and it was a little bit of a letdown. The new album never came. But I reckon if Noel and Liam can manage it right, Oasis might be poised to finish off their story in a way no other rock band has really ever pulled off, in an absolute blaze of monumental glory. Only time will tell, but if the way it's been managed so far is anything to go by, the signs are really good. And I want to finish this video by just reminding everyone to get out there and get Definitely Maybe 30, the deluxe version, ordered this week. This is, obviously, an incredibly exciting time for anyone who wishes they were there for the Britpop movement in 1994. Because not only are Oasis reforming, but we are literally just a few days away from a brand new Oasis studio release from the actual Oasis in the 90s. Yes, the second disc on the deluxe version is different versions of songs we already know and love, but it's new versions of them that have never before seen the light of day. And as far as I'm aware, this is the only album of unreleased Oasis material recorded in the 90s. It's the only one. So, for anyone who wants just a small taster of what it was like back then to get new music from that band, that sound, and to hear it fresh for the very first time, this might be your final and only opportunity to really truly have that experience with genuine new studio recordings from Oasis in the early 90s. Most of the 16 tracks that we're getting on this second disc of Definitely Maybe 30 were recorded in a very specific time window. After the Supersonic single, but before the official version of Definitely Maybe. So, if you want to experience what that was like, this is an opportunity that genuinely might not come again. So, get yourself a physical copy pre-ordered today, and then listen to the album when it arrives at home on physical, CD ideally, all the way through first. Don't stream it if you want the authentic 1994 Oasis experience. It's probably going to go straight in at number 1 in the UK album charts again. Oasis have just announced live dates, so the only way you can get closer to the authentic Oasis 94 experience is to hijack a time machine. Anyway, that's it from me for now. There'll be plenty more Oasis stuff coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching, best of luck remortgaging your house for tickets, and I'll see you next time.